From a bad mood to a great mood. A lot of times we want to get out of something, but we have to know that if we get out of something, we have to go into something different. So not only do we want to get out of a bad mood, but we want to get into a great mood as fast as we can, I would hope. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Albert Villa. We are Mind Prosperity, and in this video, I'm going to teach you guys about this. I'm going to give you a few points on how to go from a bad mood to a great mood. First of all, we have to understand how a mood is formed and why it's important to deal with a bad mood. If you feel an emotion and you keep that emotion, such as fear, anger, bitterness, and if you keep that emotion in you for a few hours, you are in a mood. Something happened, I feel bad, and now I am in a mood. If you don't deal with that mood and this emotion is in you for a few days, that becomes a temperament. And if you don't deal with that temperament, meaning this emotion now has been in you for a few months, you are getting to bitterness. And if you keep that emotion in you, you go from bitterness to a personality trait. A personality trait means I haven't dealt with the thing that caused me to be emotional, and now it's a personality trait. Now all of a sudden, what used to be a bad mood now just became part of my personality, and people will say, but you have become a bitter person, you have become a moody person, you've become a temperamented person. It's not just anymore something you feel, but it's something you become. And we don't want to get to that place, and that is why it's important to deal with a bad mood, to identify a bad mood, and to get into the great mood part as soon as we can. I remember I was visiting family once. We were much younger, and they had a jacuzzi right on top of their swimming pool. The swimming pool obviously was cold and the jacuzzi was warm, so we would sit in the jacuzzi on a hot tub. I don't know where you call it over the world. Here we call it the jacuzzi, some people call it a hot tub. So we would sit in the hot tub, and when it would get very warm, we would go jump in the pool, and then it will be very cold, and then we would be like, we're too cold now, let's go back to the hot tub. The external environment determined whether our bodies were hot or whether it was cold. We could do something the whole time. We could decide, do I want to feel warm or do I want to feel cold? Now, what if the jacuzzi or the swimming pool or the heat or the coldness is not something on the outside anymore, but it's something on the inside? It feels like somebody has just dropped a bunch of hot water within my soul, and now all of a sudden my soul gets fired up into a bad mood. When your soul gets fired up, it's things like anger and bitterness and aggression. Or what if it feels like somebody has just dropped something cold into my soul, and it gives me this cold feeling, and it brings me down like depression or sadness. And now it's not something outside of me that's causing me to feel like that. It's something within me. It's my own thoughts. It's my own decisions. It is something that I've now done to myself just by thinking, just by imagining wrong. And if a person gets to that place where your own thoughts, where your own imagination, and yes, your thoughts and your imagination will use external environments, don't get me wrong, something happens without me, but then I make an internal decision, and my internal decision gets me in a mood. If I don't deal with the mood, it's going to become a temperament. If I don't deal with the temperament, it's going to become bitterness. And if I don't deal with bitterness, it's going to become a personality trait. And we don't want that. Dr. Julie Smith, who is a psychologist or psychiatrist and a writer, said the following, and she spoke about the two-way road. And she said in the two-way road, your thoughts can have an influence on your emotions. That's one way. But then there's another way where your emotions can influence your thoughts. So a lot of times we speak about positive thinking, positive decisions, positive mindset, and that will influence your emotion. And that is very true, and that is very good, but it's one side. The other side is where your bad emotions, your bad feeling can start influencing your thoughts. And if we now realize that our bad emotions can influence our thoughts, we can look at it from a different angle. And our thoughts can also, or our emotions can also determine our thoughts, and not just our thoughts determine our emotions. So when you feel emotional, it causes you to feel more vulnerable thoughts. When you are emotional, it's a bit more difficult to think good thoughts. If you are emotional, it's a bit more difficult to think the right thoughts. And that's why we have to go deal with the emotional part first. We cannot just say, now I'm going to think positive thoughts, now I'm going to think good thoughts, because the emotions are making us vulnerable to our thoughts. Okay, it causes us to think more vulnerable thoughts. So I want to go back, I want to go sit with my emotions, I want to go deal with my emotions first. And now that I've dealt with my emotions, now I can go back to a better thought life, because the two influence each other the whole time. So thinking differently or changing your thoughts is a very important answer, but it's not the only answer. Sitting with your emotions and dealing with your emotions is also a very important thing, because thinking positive affirmations, positive thinking without dealing with the thing that's causing the emotion is is not always a very healthy thing. I think it's ever a very healthy thing. Okay, how do we deal with the low mood? I'm going to give you a few things on how to deal with a low mood. Before I do that, I just want to tell you I do sessions in the workplace, emotional intelligence in the workplace, the influence of mindset in the workplace. I have these 2 booklets available. I do individual sessions, I do group sessions on emotional intelligence, mental wealth. So if you want to contact me, you're welcome to do that. And because of social media, we can do it all over the world. And then please like, please subscribe, please comment, and please share this video to people if you believe it's going to help them. Okay, so how to deal with the low mood? First of all, self-awareness is a very important thing. Self-awareness is to look within and to see, how do I deal with the emotions? Why do I feel these emotions? What has caused these emotions? And how can I deal with them? So remember, in this teaching, in this video, it's all about sitting with your emotions first, dealing with your emotions, dealing with your feelings before you just go into positive thinking and positive affirmation. And the first thing that's very important is self-awareness. Why do I feel this? What has happened in my past and in my life that's causing me to have this mood about this situation and about these circumstances? And then after self-awareness, awareness of the experience. The experience is more the external environment. What does this experience actually mean? What does this experience actually represent? And how does this experience affect me? So it's not only just looking at yourself, but it is looking outside, looking at the experience, thinking about the experience, determining what the experience actually means, and then ask yourself the question, how can I use what is within me to change the inside and then also to change the outside? Then after that, mindfulness. Mindfulness is to come into the here and now and to reflect on what's happening, to sit down, forget a bit about the past, forget a bit about the future, come into the here and now, bring the situation into the here and now, and ask yourself, what do I feel in this situation? What do I feel because of this situation? How did the external environment influence my internal environment? And how can I now use my internal environment to influence me within and then to influence the external environment? You know, I believe people are neglecting a lot, just sitting down, thinking, getting into a mindful state. So this is very important. A lot of times when we're in a bad mood or when we are in a mood, we just want to act or react. Very important thing is to sit, to think, to be mindful, to reflect. And the next one is stop ruminating and overthinking. I actually did a video on what ruminating and overthinking is all about. The link will be in this video if you want to go check that out. Ruminating is when you think the same thoughts over and over. Overthinking is when you take a thought and you make it bigger than what it actually is. So if you are in a mood, if you have bad emotions and you take the situation and you think about it over and over again, or you make it bigger, you're not making it better, you're making it worse. So learn not to ruminate, learn not to overthink about this, but bring it into the right perspective. I'm not saying don't think about it. I'm not saying don't admit that it's there. Don't ruminate about it is what I'm saying. Don't overthink it is what I'm saying. Then after you've done all these things, you did your self-awareness, you did evaluate the outside experience, you did do some mindfulness where you sat down, where you brought it into the here and now. When you have learned not to ruminate or overthink about this activity or this situation, I want to encourage you to do some fun activities. Go do a sport you like. Go take your dog for a walk. Go exercise. Go spend time with friends. Go to a movie, do something fun, do something enjoyable. If you go out, if you do something enjoyable, it releases some neurotransmitters that can help with your mood, which I think is a very necessary thing. And then the last thing that I want to say to you, that it's important to deal with a bad mood, is make small changes continuously or continually. The goal is not just to make this one big change. The goal is not just to go from a bad mood to a great mood this second. If you can do that, great for you. But for most of us, it takes small decisions, small changes, being mindful every day, dealing with ruminating and overthinking every day, doing some fun activities every day, doing some mental exercises every day, sitting and dealing with your emotions every day. And by doing that, you can make small changes, but small changes on top of each other will then lead to a big change in your life. And then you will see, you will experience bad moods, you will experience things in your life. We can never escape that, but now we know how to deal with them, that it never becomes a personality trait. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. We believe it helped you from Mind Prosperity. We love you and we will see you soon again. Goodbye.